Hello and welcome to Whatever Happened to the Gentleman. I am your host, SMr&x, and today I am joined with a special guest who has been through a pretty traumatic journey. Today's guest is here to hopefully inspire you that although life may give you lemons, it's time to make lemonade. I'm not going to give her a massive introduction because she is going to introduce herself to you. But what I want you to do throughout this episode is I want you to think about your own journey and how you could take steps to move forward, just like Sonja did.
Hello, my name is Sonja Zipser. I'm from Germany. I'm living near Stuttgart with my 3 daughters. I'm a single mom, a healer, a coach, and a podcaster as well. So my background is that I had breast cancer in 2015. I had a second diagnosis in 2017. And yeah, this was the start for me to change my life because my husband left me at that time and my mom died. So a lot happened in 2017, and it was a chance for me to create a new life.
A new version of
Yes.
yourself. Did you and your husband separate whilst you were going through cancer treatment?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that was like double blow kind of toughness.
Yes, absolutely. It was a shock because I didn't expect that he would leave me. But looking back, it was the best thing that could happen to me because, as I said, that I started changing myself, and I went through chemotherapy at that time, but I hadn't thought about other options that I could use and receive. So yeah, I guess it was a great gift he was giving me, but I couldn't see it at once, of course. But yeah.
So do you think that was the trigger for you to change your life, or the cancer was the trigger, or was it just a combination of, oh, what is going on?
I think it was a combination. It was a combination. And yeah, we always have to hit rock bottom to make a change.
Yeah.
Life showed me in 2015 that I had to change something with my first cancer diagnosis. I didn't do.
Okay.
So yeah, I got a second chance with my second diagnosis, my husband leaving, my mom dying. Because my husband left on a Sunday and the next morning my mom died unexpectedly. So she would have
Wow.
been a great help for me, but now she was gone as well. So yeah, I really hit rock bottom.
So you
And
just had to do everything just by yourself.
pardon?
So you had to you literally do everything by yourself.
Yes, and I had to ask for help. What was nothing I did very often or I didn't like to do, but I had to ask. Yeah, I got in touch with health insurance and they sent me a woman who helped me here in the household. And yeah, and she was that angel who asked me, "Are you open for other treatments?" And I said, "Yes, of course, because I want to live. I want to see my kids growing up." And years later, when people still ask me, "How are you doing and what's going on?" I said, "Everything's fine. And yeah, of course, I want to live," until I realized that this was the biggest lie I was telling myself, because me as a mom, and my mom didn't show me, or she showed me the same way because she did everything for my sister and myself. And that's what I was doing as well. I was living for my kids and for my husband. Now I only had the kids, and I said, okay, of course, I want to live to see my kids growing up, until I realized that I should want to live for myself. And that was the moment, I can't remember which year it was, that I realized that I didn't have a vision for myself. I had no idea what I really love to do, what I like in life, what do I want to achieve in life. There was nothing. I had completely lost myself.
And I think that is a problem for a lot of people, not just parents, just
Yeah.
people go about their everyday life,
Yeah.
just keep chugging along and not really thinking, actually, is this leading me towards what I actually want? What do I want?
Yeah.
And sometimes, unfortunately, it takes a huge moment in life to make people realize, actually, this isn't the life that I want, and I need to make some changes.
Yeah, and often do we see that we don't like the life and we don't change anything.
Yeah.
It's funny because this week I spoke to a neighbor and I didn't know that she changed her job last year, but she told me I was so unhappy with my job and now it's at something completely different and I'm really more happy. And my old colleagues still ask me, do you want to come back? And I say no. But at the beginning, I didn't tell anybody that I changed my job because I was afraid they would talk me out of that.
Yeah,
And
I get
that's
that.
that's crazy that we always want to keep people in a place they are in, and that we are afraid of changes.
Yeah. When I left my job, because I used to be a probation officer, and when I left, I handed in my notice and I didn't actually tell anyone about it. And it was only when it had gone like past a certain point that I couldn't take it back, that I was then going around and telling people, because I knew that people would try and talk me out of it.
Mm.
And it did happen. People did say, well, how are you going to survive and what are you going to do? And people often laugh, and you will understand this, but my response is always, the universe will show me what I need to do and it will take me along the path that I need to be on.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't get that and think that you're a little bit insane, but it's fine.
Yeah. And sometimes it takes a bit until the universe shows you where you have to go.
Yeah.
And of course, it's try and error. Yes, sometimes you go a path and then you realize, oh, that was not the right one.
Yeah.
But at least you tried and you learned something and you can say, okay, this is not what I really want. So you can cross it out.
Yeah. So what were the first steps when you started to heal yourself? And I know obviously you do a lot of work around the breast cancer, but I'm assuming because of all of the other trauma that you went through, you would have had to heal your mind as well. What were the
Yes,
first things you did?
I booked a course, self-healing, and that was the first thing also with mindset work, as you just said. And for me, healing starts in your mindset. The belief that it is possible that you yourself, you can have an impact on your health. It's not always on the doctors. They are a great help. Sometimes they are needed, but a lot can be changed within between your ears.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are quick in throwing in some pills, but most of the time we don't need them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm every day I study a bit, reading, listening to something. And I started doing this in 2021. It's COVID. For me, it was also a great gift this period because so many people went online, so many offers are online. So you have so many, really a lot of possibilities. So you find everything online or on YouTube or all the different channels. So whatever you're looking for, you find a solution. And as you said, the universe will guide me and will show me, yes, that's with everything. Ask a question, and at some time you will get the answer because the answer is already in you.
Yeah.
because when you ask a question, you can be sure of already knowing the answer. Sometimes it takes a bit that you will understand it and that the answer will be revealed to you. So yeah, as I said, I had my first diagnosis in 2015, and I always said I do everything. I will do everything. I had chemotherapy, and I said I will do everything because I want my old life back. So to explain, I had a goal at that moment. I wanted my old life back, and it showed me how important it is to have a goal. That's what I learned in all the workshops and courses I booked with my mentors. And it showed me how important it is to have a goal. That was for me wanting my old life back. So I always had that vision. I do everything. I take all steps. I will go through everything what they asked me to do, and then I have my old life back. So that's with every vision you have, with every goal you have, you need that goal, and then you have to take the steps to do what is needed. So I did that. I had my old life back. Approximately 10 months later, I had a breast operation. I went through different treatments, but then I went to rehab, 3-week rehab.
Rehabilitation, yeah.
Yeah, and then I had my old life back. That started right away. I come home from that 3 weeks. I was one day at home. We went skiing, and I came home with a lot of laundry and a lot of work. 3 kids. 2 of my kids had, I don't know how you call the little animals when you have in your hair. All
Oh, head lice.
yeah, maybe, but it's not a nice thing. So I was busy getting that stuff out of my kids' hair, was washing hair and everything. I had the laundry, and I just came back from my rehab, and yeah, my old life was back. So I had a few months living my old life, going back to work again. And then in December, I got my second diagnosis. I had pain in my stomach area, and I thought it might be something with my uterus or something like that, from breast cancer. And so I was really afraid. And then they said, there is nothing, because I went through a test, but we found something in your liver and in your spine. And that was a great shock, because I hadn't expected this. But for me, it was sure, okay, the universe has plans with me, because otherwise I didn't have pain in this area. So I wouldn't have noticed. And I said to myself, okay, was found out by chance. So the universe has something, it has still plans for me. So if the treatment from last year wasn't successful, then I needed change. So I changed the clinic. So yes, it was only later that I realized that I had to change inside myself, like mindset, doing the things I'm doing. But I started changing, doing things differently. And that's for me what I still learned later from all the personal development, mindset changes. And so that we have, if something doesn't work out, you have to make changes, try something else, go another path, look from a different angle. And yes, all this. So before I got a coach and went into different programs, I intuitively already did the right things.
So
Having a
did your
goal, a
goal,
vision.
did it change? Your goal changed? So after the second diagnosis, did your goal change? Did you still say, I want my old life back? Or did you say, actually, I need to throw that out of the window and I need to start a new goal?
Well, at the beginning, I just wanted to survive fighting the cancer. And then suddenly it was, so in January, I had that in January 2017, I had the second diagnosis. In May, my husband left me. So it was not a lot of time between that, and my mom died. So I was busy struggling with myself. I didn't have a goal at that time. And when my husband left, I was just in surviving modus.
Yeah.
And telling, yes, of course, I want to live. I convinced myself because I wanted to see my kids growing up, having a family as well. And then there was that moment that was like, how do you say, a thunder,
Yeah.
a lightning that hit me. Wow, it's not the kids I should live to, but for myself. And that was when I realized I had no goal for myself. So I had coaches on my side to help me figuring out what I really want. But I was already in a deep depression that it took me quite some time, a few months, more than a year, I would say, to figure out what I really want in life.
But I think there'll be a lot of people listening that they may not have had diagnoses, but they will be able to completely relate to the fact that you were just trying to survive. There's so many people out there, whatever problems that they've got, they are literally just trying to survive. And just in the chaos of it all. And it's so nice to see that it doesn't have to be instant. It doesn't have to be, oh, this is my moment. It can be a gradual, actually, I need to work on myself and maybe get some guidance. You know, I have a coach as well. I've had many coaches over the years. And I think having somebody else there, even if it's just a friend, that can just guide you in a direction if you don't know what to do.
Yes, someone who offers you some possibilities, because when you are in the deep depression and you're struggling, everything's black. Everything is bad and you can't get out of bed. Maybe I didn't have that problem, but yeah, you're not happy and there's nothing that really cheers you up. So you need somebody who helps you get out of that and suggesting, come on, let's go for a dance. Let's go to the cinema. Let's do this or that. Let's go for a walk in nature. That's so important. I always had a friend who went with me for a walk.
I think it's interesting what you said about COVID and about how that actually helped you because everything went online. Because I hear a lot, and a lot of people that I work with, COVID was the opposite for them. So everything went online, but now work is at home. They don't socialize with real people unless it's on a computer screen. And they really struggle with kind of just that social aspect of life. A couple of my clients, they started working from home with COVID, and then it never ended. They never went back to the office. Offices started selling or not re-renting the space, and they're just online. And I try and say to people, well, even if you can just start connecting with people online to just build that confidence up that people are actually nice, regardless of kind of what you read everywhere. If you meet the right people,
Yeah.
And it may take a couple of tries to meet the right people, but if you meet them, they are nice and they will lift you up.
Yeah.
And that will then give you the confidence to then be able to go and meet people in person, because you know that people are not actually evil.
Yeah, and actually, we have to take responsibility of our own life. So if you are forced to work at home now, then you have to search something in your private life that gets you out of home. So it's easy to point with your finger on the office, the government, or other people and blaming them that you're now not feeling good because you have to work at home. But it's your own responsibility. You have the possibility to change your job, and you have the possibility to find friends and go there. Last week I took a course here in the next town. It was for a dancing lesson. I go out dancing as well every week. And so I'm a lot of online, having friends all over the world now. It's a possibility now to talk to you and to reach so many people all over the world. But I also socialize by going dancing, taking dance lessons. And this morning I was walking 1 hour outside on the field with a friend. I met her at 8 o'clock. So it's on me to
So
make that change for me and find out what could I do.
do you think if you went out in Germany, obviously you live in Germany, do you think people are friendly like on the street? Because I think depending on where you live in the UK depends on the reaction that you get from people. Quite a while ago, I was in London and I started to, there was a small child with his mom. No, I wasn't just speaking to random small children. Obviously, I have my own children, so I know that that's not a good thing. But he was tapping, and obviously he was bored. And I have a son that gets very bored, so I just said to him, "It's boring waiting for the tube, isn't it?" And the look on his mum's face was like I was the devil, and she quickly walked to the other end of the platform. And I posted on social media about, just this random thing, and people were like, you shouldn't speak to random people in the street. And I thought, that isn't how I've been brought up. My granddad was the kind of person that would speak to anyone. So you would walk down the street with him and he would be literally going, hi, 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 to everyone. So do you think in Germany it is like that, where you could just say hi to people as you walk down the street?
I think we should do that more, of course, as well. Yes. I realized that it depends on which part you are also in
Okay.
Germany. I think we have parts where people are very focused on themselves, not looking left or right, and not speaking to anybody. But then you also have parts where I once visited a friend in a very small village, and everybody greeted.
Yeah.
I was really surprised. That was crazy that everybody, even the kids, so many kids
Yeah.
don't look at you and don't greet. And yeah, I think that's something we should do more often, start looking in the faces of people, in their eyes, and greet them.
Yeah.
I
And
had
even
a,
smiling, you just smile at people.
yes, and
Yeah.
sometimes when I remember that I do it really, I remind myself going out, or when I go out, that I will laugh and smile at every person. And I have a story when I went back after my second diagnosis, when I went back to the office again, my little office room was occupied. So I had to sit in a big, I don't know how you call it in English, a big office where
Okay.
a lot of
Yeah.
people are sitting in, and I didn't like it. So my boss told me, you could probably sit in with someone else in another room. And then one morning, I was sitting there and our CEO came along and I said, good morning. And I smiled at him and he stopped by and said, oh, yeah, hi, good morning. And he was so friendly. And he said, did you already choose whether you want to sit there or you want to stay here? He wouldn't have stopped by if I would have said, good morning.
Yeah.
So it's always on us. How do we? And though with that woman, that mom, I guess she has a problem because as you described it, so it's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's not also not her fault. I think it's something, yeah, maybe she has experienced something bad or she was somewhere weird. You don't know what's going on in other people's heads.
No.
So we don't know anything about them, how they were brought up, what experiences they made. And yeah, and COVID also made something with a lot of people.
So your experience of going out and kind of meeting new people and doing new things like your dance class, and The reason I ask this is because I do that as well, and I go and do random things and meet new people, and I have a lot of groups now where I'm like, I actually don't know how I've got time to do these things and be a parent and do all the other things that I need to do. But I have always been welcomed, even if it's somewhere completely new and I've never met anyone. The experience that I've had of going to groups is friendliness and just people realizing that you are new and you might be nervous, so they are extra nice to you. And I tell my clients that, and I think sometimes they think that I'm just making it up to try and get them to go and do new things. So your experience of doing new things and meeting new people, has it always been positive? Are you welcomed in?
Yes, of course. And yeah, it's of course not all people are, you're not connected with everybody. So where I'm dancing, there are people I don't have a connection, so I don't have to speak to them. So there are so many other people as well. So it will never be like that you will like everybody and that you're on the same level of frequency. And that's normal, that's okay. But if there's at least one person you like and you have a good conversation or a good laugh with or whatsoever, and sometimes it lasts for, let's say, 2 or 3 months, or sometimes you are there for a year or forever. So people come and go. That's okay and normal.
Yeah. And I think that is something to remember, that we don't have to like everyone, we don't have to connect with everyone, because everyone's different and we all have our own different values and the way that we want to live our life.
Yeah.
And if you go to something and you speak with someone and you think, this isn't my person, and I've done that quite a few times where I've been speaking to someone and in my head I'm thinking, this isn't my, we're not going to be friends because we clearly are not on the same
Yeah.
level, and that's fine.
Yeah.
A lot of people take that as, I tried something and I met someone new and I didn't like them and I didn't connect with them, and then they think that's a reason for them to then not do it again.
Mhm.
But you just have to keep trying, because you will eventually
Yeah.
meet the people that you're supposed to be around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
So obviously you are single parent.
Yes.
Are you dating?
At the moment, not. No. I was in a relationship for more than a year, but
Okay.
not at the moment.
Okay. And so was that a big step? Obviously you split up from your husband. Was it hard for you to get back into, I want to date someone or I want to be with someone? Did you find that difficult?
Yeah. No, because I knew that person with whom I had a relationship. I knew him before. With him, it was not a problem. I'm not sure how it will be as soon as I'm prepared for another relationship. I'm now building my business, so I have another focus. And so it's not something for me that I'm focusing right now on. But I think yes, so my kids are older now. One is 18, one is 20, the youngest is 15. So we changed a lot. A lot went on, and I don't know how it will be another man in our life. I have 3 girls, so yeah, it will be interesting. But of course, it will also be, I started watching Words, so challenging. I don't know. Of course, it will be a challenge and new experience, but that's what life is for. And if it's only something that lasts for 3 months, then I can use these 3 months to figure out, okay, what did I learn from that period? So that's the way I see life now, that everything happens for a reason. When we meet people, if we arguing or if something happens, everything happens for a reason to grow.
Yeah.
So I really started looking on situations very neutral, because it's like I have a photo in my hands and I look at that picture and I think, okay, what does this situation picture me? What is it telling me? And that's what really helps me.
I like that, because I think that a lot of people, certainly a lot of single people that are like, I really want to have a partner, I really want to have someone to spend my life with. They focus so much on that, and then if they start dating, and in the UK we call it ghosting, where they start talking to somebody and then all of a sudden they just disappear like a ghost, and they just stop talking to you for whatever reason. People will then take that as, oh, they were supposed to be the person and now they've done that, so now I'm never going to find my person. And I think your perspective of that is wonderful, that if someone comes into your life and they're there for 2 weeks and then they just disappear and they stop speaking to you, you can learn something from that, even if it's just learning, I'm never going to treat another human that way because it made me feel really bad. And if we stop putting so much pressure on ourselves to, oh, I need to hit this, I need to be here by this age, then great things actually start happening.
Absolutely, yeah. And I was someone who really put a lot of pressure on myself as well. Yeah, I always called myself a fighter, and yeah, and bam, bam, I have to do this and that and that. And so I had a lot of expectations as well in other people. So yeah, we have to learn to release all these expectations on ourselves and on other people.
Yeah, and just let life flow
Yeah.
in the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah, and it's a journey. I'm still learning every day. So I have ups and downs still. So it ends when we die. It's never too late to change. And every day is a new possibility to make new decisions, to make changes, to learn, to grow. Yeah, and sometimes I still fall and I'm disappointed. And then I can take a look into the situation. Why am I disappointed? Why do I feel hurt? And then I can change that. So often we don't understand that our reactions from today, they are related to something we experienced in our childhood, for example, or even something older from our ancestors. And that's what is spooky to so many other people. But it's true. Yeah, I experienced that really in my body when I traveled to an old life. When I released it suddenly things were gone. And with clients, of course, as well, I always also experienced similar things. So it's crazy, it's phenomenal, and I'm always so excited. And sometimes I just can't believe it myself, what is possible. And there is much more possible than we could imagine.
So you traveled to your past life, because I've done a future self one, and which I think I've done it twice, and both times by the end of it I was sobbing with tears. But I've never done the past life. So you've done that?
Yes, just in a meditation.
Ah, interesting. I may try that.
Yeah.
So, but you are right, and I obviously have trained in a lot of things to do with human behavior originally, and there is so much linked to our childhood and our past. And when you have seen things happen over and over again, and then you've never learned anything different, you're going to behave in the same way. That it is logic. When someone explains that to you, that, oh, well, you learned to do it this way, so you're just going to do it that way. That's no different to if someone taught you how to drive a car in a certain way, you're always going to drive the car in that way.
Yeah.
And what you've done, what I did, and what a lot of people do, and hopefully more people will do in the future, is look at those patterns, look at what they learn, and then learn some more as a way of actually changing it.
Yes, so important that we look at our patterns and be very open to it and very, I don't know the English word, that you don't lie to yourself. So that
Okay.
you're really open and say the truth. And because, and I know that from myself, we always want to be good. Yeah. And it was very hard for me to acknowledge that in some areas I'm not that perfect.
Yeah.
But it's only hard for us because our society taught us that it's not good to be like this, that, and like this. But if we would put that away, and if there were no judgment anymore from the society, then it's just an experience you did.
Yeah.
And
But that's what happens when you have a coach or a mentor, isn't it? Because they call you out on that,
yes,
on the
absolutely.
whatever you're choosing to tell
Yeah.
yourself. They will say to you, I'm not quite sure you're being truthful there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can really recommend to everybody, find a coach, a mentor that guides you through the processes. And I had several coaches on my side. I have now a lot of friends who are coaches, so I can help them and they can help me. When I have questions, I always call somebody. I had a call with a friend this week who helped me, and I helped someone else. So it's giving and taking. That's amazing. But I also had paid coaches, and I bought different courses, and because that helps you to grow and the more you grow and the more you release and become aware of your patterns. And it's so important to become aware what's going on in your system and in your outer world, the easier it gets, because you can quicker react, and the quicker you react, you don't have to suffer so long. And the longer you suffer, it becomes more and more difficult. And the longer you are in the depression, in that deep dark, it gets more difficult to get out of that. So the more aware you are what is going on, and the more true, faithful you are with yourself, and the quicker it is. And yeah,
And live a great life
yes.
at the end of it. Brilliant. Well, I'm going to wrap this up.
Mhm.
If people want to find out more about you, where can they find you?
On social media, my name is always I am Sonja Zipser, so you can find me. I have a YouTube channel, Ambitious Single Moms, it's called. And yeah, I have a website with my name.
Okay.
So
I'll put it all in the show
yeah,
notes
who
anyway.
wants to change will find me. And if we resonate with each other, then I will
Yeah.
be glad to help you.
Brilliant. Wow. Thank you.